After much anticipation, same-sex couples began getting married in New York State at midnight. What does the implementation of the same-sex marriage law mean for the future, now that it's a reality? Here to talk more about that is Colin Donnaruma. Donnaruma, good morning to you, and you're from the Civil Liberties Union.
Absolutely. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it. Okay, first and foremost, I want to ask you real quick, implementation.
Yes.
What else needs to be done here if it's not all done already? I thought after you pass the law, it's done.
Absolutely. Well, in terms of the state level, implementation started at midnight. It was the 30th day after the governor signed the bill. There's a bit of a logistical complication because a contingency, in order to get a valid marriage in New York, you need to have a clerk give you a license. It's a 24-hour waiting period unless you get it waived. So what we saw last night was kind of this unique situation that I think reflects the broad support for this law, which is that a lot of clerks opened up their doors on Sunday at midnight and had judges standing by to issue orders waiving the traditional 24-hour waiting period in order for New Yorkers to be able to start to benefit from this law. For most other New Yorkers, on Monday they can go down to their clerk's office, they can get a license, you wait 24 hours, and then starting Tuesday, I think we're going to see thousands of more New Yorkers take advantage of the marriage equality law.
You know, is there anything else that needs to be done here? I mean, there are 44 other states, because you have 6 states now that have same-sex marriage legal. There are 44 others without it. So is there something else that needs to be done here?
Absolutely. That's one of the key messages I want to get across today. There's still an enormous amount of work that needs to be done. This was a big piece of the puzzle to have New York recognize same-sex marriage, and we should celebrate it, but we also have to remain vigilant. We have to roll up our sleeves and continue to work. At the federal level, the Defense of Marriage Act, DOMA, actually legally prevents the federal government from recognizing the marriages that New Yorkers are entering into.
So what does that mean? I mean, if they don't recognize it, so what? New York State recognizes it. If you live here, you're recognized.
Absolutely. So the same-sex marriages that are being entered into New York are recognized at the state level, but because of DOMA, the federal government cannot recognize them. That means that New Yorkers who enter into valid same-sex marriages are denied federal benefits. You can't file a joint federal tax return. You can't get nearly 1,100 federal benefits, from Social Security to immigration issues. Individuals from the 6 states that have valid same-sex marriage are still prevented from that. The Obama administration actually has come out and said they oppose DOMA. Several district court levels have declared the Defense of Marriage Act unconstitutional, but it remains on the books, and there's not likely to be a legislative change because the House of Representatives approves it. So one of the things that we're saying is that we have to take a lot of this energy and momentum that was put forward towards getting same-sex marriage in New York and now use that towards repealing the Defense of Marriage Act so that these marriages can be genuinely recognized both at the state and the federal level.
Okay, so there's a lot of opposition, though, across the country, but it seems like, you know, in the polls, to me, it seems like the opposition is going down a little bit.
Yeah, I think absolutely. We're seeing a shift in public opinion in support of same-sex marriage. I think particularly among individuals in my generation, younger folks, there's overwhelming support for this, and a lot of my peers don't see why this is such an issue and what the problem is. So I think we're gradually moving in that direction. Part of the problem is that this sort of gradual piecemeal change leaves tens of thousands of same-sex individuals in other states without access to marriage. So part of what we're saying is that we're in a system of federal constitutional rights. We think there's a federal right to marriage. We think the 14th Amendment protects same-sex couples. So I think it's time for the U.S. Supreme Court to weigh in on this, grant cert on a marriage case, and decide this conclusively for the entire nation, rather than having this kind of piecemeal implementation that for a lot of couples is far too slow.
We have about 5 seconds, so the bottom line is there's still a lot of work to be done here on the federal level.
Exciting day. We're thrilled. Still a lot of work to be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colin Donnaruma, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And for more information, we've set up a link on our website. Just go to WNYT.com and click on News Links.